Welcome back, kiddies. Welcome back to Closing Time with Jayke Orvis. Tonight's show is going to be sponsored by Fireball. You'll know why as soon as we get into it. All right, let's start the show.
I'm your huckleberry.
Last call for alcohol.
Take him home.
Speak up or forever hold your peace.
Somebody just walked over your grave.
Just get him the hell out of here.
Hello, my friend! Hey!
Go home, Jake.
All right. Welcome back, guys. It's good to have you back here. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Just recently, my favorite bar on the planet, the one that has employed me throughout the entire time I've been living in Pittsburgh when I'm not touring, just recently, last week, Tuesday, in the morning, caught fire. It wasn't a total loss, but there was serious damage everywhere, and it basically shut down a very cool staple in the little Lawrenceville neighborhood of Pittsburgh that we all seem to hang out and get drunk in. It's caused about roughly 20 people to lose their jobs, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because tonight I'm having everybody that I consider a dear friend and family member that I work with, that I've been working with for the last 6 years. They're all going to be here today, and we're all going to the whole point, we're not, this isn't to raise money so much. It's going to be rebuilt. There is insurance. There's a bunch of people without jobs, but the point of this is not to, look for a handout in any shape or form. What we're trying to do, man, is literally, we just want to tell you guys all about this place and why we love it so much, because it has got so much character to it. There's a lot of history to this place. There's a lot of incredibly ridiculous stories that have come out of this place throughout the years. I've been with it for 6 years, and I have countless stories from this place. It's an absolute treat, and the fact that it's gone right now and we're all orphans for the time being is really made me sad. But instead of crying and whining about it, I want to celebrate this place. So we're going to have a bunch of people out here. We're going to be talking about it, and I think you're going to dig it. Other than that, I did have to cancel a show in Chicago, and anybody in Chicago, I apologize about that. It was because it was directly related to this fire. I was scheduled to have Danielle Colby. She was going to be my next guest, and that had to get postponed. We're going to have to reschedule that one. And we also did an episode with Submachine that will now be coming out in 2 weeks from today. So, other than that, folks, it's good to have you back here. How the hell have you guys been doing? It'd be great to hear some more from you guys. I know a lot of you guys are starting to comment on some stuff, and that's great. But I really like to hear a little bit more feedback from everybody. Hit me up on Twitter. It's just my name, Jayke Orvis. If you don't know how to spell my name, it's Jayke Not Jake Davis or Jack Dervis, not Jake Orifice, none of that shit. It's Jayke Orvis, at Jayke Orvis. Hashtag Closing Time with Jayke Orvis if you like. Do all that shit. There's also the Facebook page, Closing Time with Jayke Orvis. I also want to let you guys know that I'm going to have another radio show coming out. There's an internet radio station that's about to start popping in a couple weeks here, and I've been nodded. Wait, that doesn't sound right. I've been given the old tip of the hat. Let's get you on this show. Let's get your own show. It's going to be a lot of fun. I just started working on the first episode, and this is going to be more music-based. I'm going to be playing DJ, and I'm going to have some guest DJing every week. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be on Nitrosonic Radio is what you're going to be looking for. There's a lot of other cool shows on it. Blaine from Nashville Pussy is going to have a show. There's also going to be a lot of appearances from a lot of cool people that I think you'll all know. A guy named Jim, I don't know, the Jim Florentine, Jim Fiore, the Jim guy from that metal show, the guy that doesn't have the really dorky sideburns and not the big round guy. The guy with a deep voice. he's going to be doing some stuff, making appearances, and there's rumored to be a couple cool stand-ups that I think everybody knows to do some appearances and stuff like that throughout the thing. So anyway, look for that, folks. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to be part of it. So, all right. I think at this point, we're just going to get on with it. All right, we're here with everybody from Belvederes. We got Kevin, we got Leah, we got Dusty, we got Luke, we got Joy, myself. If any of you guys know, like, how many fucking things that building has been, it was a bowling alley for a while. It was a Polish something.
Lucky Strikes.
It was called Abductions was the name of it.
Before it was Abductions, It was like a bunch of other shit too. It was like a fucking
Honey
Polish
Bears.
armory or something.
Before it was Abduction, it was Lucky Strike, from what I've been told. And Lucky, who still drinks there today, set pins for a nickel a pin.
Really?
There back in the day when he was a child, so I'm told.
It couldn't have been a nickel a pin.
So did Slow
Like
Joe.
a nickel
Joey
an hour.
T-shirt.
That's more than we make.
Joey
worked there,
T-shirt
too.
used to work there?
That was his first job, yeah. Slow Joe, Joey T-shirt.
Yeah. Whatever happened to him?
He's dead.
Yeah, I think he did that.
Did he really?
He died last year.
Lucky's still alive, at least one of them.
Yeah, he actually
One Lucky
never,
is still alive.
He never left Lawrence.
Yeah, that was about to say.
Ever in his life.
That's right. I remember him saying that he never left Lawrenceville, which is like a mile radius.
He never made it to the other side of Lawrenceville. It had to have been the 5-block radius. He left to go to a dentist appointment. They took him in a car out to. He had an infection in his mouth, and then when they were driving over this hill one time, he leaned over to Billy at the pizza shop and said, I've never left Lawrenceville. This is the first time I've ever been out of the neighborhood. I'm just like, dude, you're 67 years old.
Holy
You've never
shit.
been able to go anywhere. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was 57 years old.
Yeah,
but-
they're all like rode hard, put away wet.
Well, the whole place is weird because, one of the things that's cool about Belvederes, to me anyway, was the fact that during the day, just the dichotomy of the day shift, because it opens at 11 o'clock, closes at 2, but just the difference between the day shift crowd and the night shift crowd is like crazy. And I've worked both for many years, and I've broken up way more fights during the day between old men that shouldn't even be fucking should not be even talking loudly for their own heart's sake, and they're throwing beer at each other and shit. They're fucking insane.
But you didn't work the 7 a.m. shift when the intense card games would go down.
Oh, dude, they took all day.
So, do tell.
There was a line at the door, 5 people waiting to get in at 7 a.m.
Yeah,
For a card
that
game?
was Big Ray, Dirty
Big Ray,
Dick,
rest in peace. Dirty
Dead.
Dick.
rest in peace.
Dead.
Marco,
He can
is
rest
dead?
in peace.
Okay, one-arm Marco story, the fight story. Someone, anyone.
Yeah, Luke, do you want to take
Anyone
this?
know?
Which one?
No, the fight story where he fought with the blind guy.
Yeah, the blind guy.
Oh,
There's
one-
the blind
one-
guy
one
that
arm
couldn't
guy
hit with one, and then Marco had the one arm, so Marco couldn't swing the punches, but he saw for the blind guy with the 2 arms, and they fought a fight with Marco being straddled by a 2-armed man, and I don't know. It's kind of
And they won.
like
From what I understand, he just kind of put his arms up underneath the blind guy's arms.
Yeah.
Or whatever, the blind
and said
guy.
left, right,
Yeah, and,
Like
and
punch
knocked
out.
the guy out.
Really?
No matter how it works, it was still 2-on-1.
The guy may have been knocked out before.
But it was only one good set of eyes and only 3 good arms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not really 2-on-1. That's
Yeah,
more
but I
like
mean-
1.5 on
1 and a half on 1. That's what it was.
Looking at half on 1, maybe.
And it also-
we also don't know who they were fighting. This guy might have been in a wheelchair. You know?
Oh my god, man! Now, isn't this the guy that pulled a knife on
Yeah.
somebody?
If you could call it a knife, I mean, it was like a...
Swiss Army knife.
Okay, this was the funny. All right, to me, I think it was pretty funny. Like the first time, like the first week that I was working there, or maybe not first week. I did security first, but then I came home from tour, and you had asked me if I could bartend during the day, and I was like, yeah, no problem. So I get there, and I always crack up about this, and I tell those people all the time. My training at Belvederes was literally 10 minutes, and it went like this. Here's where the Pabst in the bush is. Here's how you work the register. Here's the money. Here's a bat. You're probably going to have to use it. All right, call me if you need anything. I fell in love with it. So
I think Marco's last stand at Belvederes was when I went down during the day just to hang out and have a drink and found him
I was
half
working.
dead in the back room, like midday, like noon or whatever. And he got up enough energy to like say he needed his
insulin
from his house, and
here's my keys.
We couldn't even get the address from him. We had to get it from someone else.
But you went to his house
and we
broke in, got the fucking insulin, and brought it back to him at the bar. That was one of the first shifts I ever worked there, you know, and that was like, there's things that happened in the rest, or not to interrupt, you know, but like in the world, you go into a job and you get a job, and then you see enough people doing something one way that you imagine that's just how it's done around here. And I came in there and just saw this fucked up shit and was just like, oh, this just must be normal. And then come to find out it's really not normal. You know, like the guys don't just go and fall asleep in the back room for hours. You know what I mean? They just like
he was dying.
Yeah, he was dying. And sure enough, like you know, my manager comes down to the bar, wakes the dude up, breaks into his house, brings him his insulin, and saves his life in the back room.
We cut him off from orange juice from then on. You know, no more vodka OJ from Marco.
Oh man,
yeah, it was just Rumpelmans, and he had to bring it from home if he was going to drink it.
When was this guy around? Because he wasn't around by the time I got there. That was 2009. So
a little before that.
Early years, like 05, 06.
He might still be alive.
Everyone started dying and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
They're disappearing. Yeah, because we kicked everyone out.
Okay, well, all right. Let's okay. This before it was Belvederes, it was Abductions, which is just a fucking ridiculous name for a bar.
Safe. It sounds safe.
Sounds real safe. But it was kind of a problem bar, wasn't it? Like there was just a lot of sketchy shit going on.
Sure.
At that time, from what I know, like
we were when I started there, it was a nuisance bar with no like events.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, and there's just
some wedding catering.
Yeah, but pretty much nothing. It was just like a bunch of.
Yeah, they got in some sort of trouble and were sort of like half shut down. Like.
Yeah. And that's when you.
I don't know.
Was that's about the time that
when my first day, which my training was 1 minute, where I walked behind the bar and the lady who I'd never met, I was like, "I'm here to work." She was like, "Okay, see you later." And I was like, "It's my first day." She was like, "Good luck." And. That's it. I don't know what I was talking about. What was I talking about?
I think we all had similar training is what we're getting at, because my training which was from Joe, was pretty similar. This was probably a year after Joe had started. So
what year was that, real quick?
I think Joe started in 2005. Is that right?
I think it was 2006.
Maybe 6, yeah.
Maybe 6.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Like
I think I might have started around the same. I mean, the same year.
I know I'm on 9 years now. It's 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
it's shortly after that. So.
Well, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to remember because I started pretty much when Joe got the job. He brought me in as a DJ. Mm-hmm. So I was DJing, and then sometimes I would be doing the door or some shit, then a shift just came up or whatever. I was never like officially hired. I was just there. So but similar training, which I think Joe said to me, was like, if someone wants to use a credit card, just tell them it doesn't work. I've never been able to figure it out. which is what I said up for a couple up until right before it burnt down. I was still. I mean, that's still been how we've been doing it, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, it doesn't work when the ATM's being used at the same time as well. So
yeah, there's only one phone line.
The hiring standards have increased over the years, but when
now we know what's in a drink instead of telling people. Like just the one that I liked the best was if somebody orders a drink and you don't know what's in it, like you want to make them a drink and just tell them that that's how we make it around here, because we don't want to look like we don't know what's in.
That's how we make it around here.
A rum and coke or whatever. I can't even think of one, but there's all those drinks that just be like, yeah, this is fucking how we do it.
Your first was the Jaeger bomb.
Yeah, I don't even. That one's not even worth talking about.
Are you serious? I will talk about it.
All right.
Because I convinced Luke, who didn't know anything about bartending, that he should always be confident in himself and tell the customer they're fucking wrong. And so someone ordered some Jaeger bombs. So the dude fills up a couple pint glasses.
I'm also 19.
With ice. I thought you were 21. So he fills up a couple pint glasses with ice, pours in
A triple shot of Jaeger, so they're not unhappy with it.
half a glass of Jaeger, and then tops it with Red Bull. And the people were like, "What is this?" And he's like, "Jaeger bomb." The dude had all the confidence in the world, and they're like, "These are not Jaeger bombs."
She says, I'm going to pay you for these because I like you. But these are not Jaeger bombs.
Oh, man.
At the end of the night, when we were busting up, there was 3 half-empty pint glasses full of Jaeger and Red Bull on one of the tables in the back room. Just like, yeah, I really didn't pull that one off very well,
I was proud of you.
Thanks.
That takes confidence, though. I mean, to do shit like that, you have to be confident because you get people who are just trying to push your buttons.
Yeah,
all the
they'll
time.
walk right over you.
Yeah, and they will. And they, especially these guys who've been going to this bar forever, and they just see somebody new and they see fresh meat. You know what I mean? And they're just like, all right, we're gonna milk this kid.
Yeah.
You can't blame a lot of them,
that
though.
start at
Like,
11:30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't even
Yeah.
make sense, really.
no, these have
Is
been
that so?
drafts have been a quarter since I was 12 years old. It's like,
How old are
yeah.
you?
You also still think that Harry Truman is president, by the way.
So in 06, though, I started on Friday nights. Misty hired me because I went in there, was like, yo, you need help? She was like, yeah, my girl can't break up the fights Friday nights. Can you do that? I was like, yeah. I bartended in Barcelona. And she was like, oh, Mexico, that's cool. I was like, all right. Lawrenceville.
Yeah.
So, but we only had one person working on a Friday night, and now we have
11.
3 up front, 1 back, DJs. I mean,
Yeah.
at least 11 with the DJs and the VJs and everyone, at least like 11, 12 people working. So, I mean, when I first went to work the first day, I had no idea the back room was there. Halfway through my shift, I was like, where's this door go? And they were
okay.
like, the banquet hall. And I was like, what?
So they kept it closed the whole time.
Banquet hall?
Oh, at that
It was
time,
all wedding reception
Yeah,
style.
describe what the front bar looked like.
Well,
at
there was
that
no
time, 'cause that
walls,
was-
there was no real entrance to the back room except for behind the bar.
Yeah.
Like the door that we used to get to the sound equipment was like the only entrance. It was real weird, not open.
There's a lot of people who are listening to this now that have never seen Belvederes. And there's a lot of bands that we all know that have come through. I know a lot of bands that like as soon as they found out what happened to Belvederes, like immediately I was getting calls from like all my touring friends and all that shit. You know what I mean? But like Belvederes, the aesthetic of Belvederes on its own is pretty.
curbside.
Yeah. So, how do you want to describe to our listeners, Kevin, what does Belvederes look like to somebody who's never seen the place?
I mean, if you could think of like all that ugly furniture that your parents had gotten rid of, it ended up there. It's not the best smelling place in the world.
You can smell it from the other side of the street.
Yeah, you can.
You know?
You can smell it on you for several days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can smell it right now, and it's been burnt down for a week.
The wood paneling just glazes the walls.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like your creepy aunt's rec room wall.
Which is
you know?
why hipsters love it. You know?
Yeah. So when did it start? Like, okay, so I mean, obviously it was more or less like an old man kind of bar.
It still had like some nightlife stuff, like at night. Like it was
Fight
it was
club.
it was more fighting.
Yeah.
I mean, it was more fighting than dancing, but you know, it was still.
Was it? I mean, obviously it wasn't as popular as it is now. Now it's kind of
No.
Like, when did it start? When did it start getting popular?
I mean, '80s night was the big kind of the catalyst that kind of was the big event. Which was still held up until last week or whatever.
Yeah, 80s night's like pretty much like the 80s night is to Belvedere what Sports Center is to ESPN. I feel like it's like the flagship night. That kind of got it. It seems to me like it kind of got everything going.
What The Sopranos are to HBO.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
Or, I don't know. Or did they have a popular show before that?
Yeah, they're the.
I feel like that was a while. I don't know.
That might have been a ways in. Let me think of a better one. I'll just interject a better one.
Okay.
Later.
I really like the L Word.
The L Word, yeah.
That's Showtime.
I like.
We're talking about TV shows.
I like Eastbound and Down.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I got no fucking idea.
It was the Beekman's world to. Whatever.
Either way, 80s night got Belvederes like in the nightlife mainstream focus of it.
So that was pretty much the event that got people coming.
Well, right around that same time, there was shows happening. You know, like I started promoting shows down there.
Mm-hmm.
Joe did some shows, and then it kind of took off with other promoters. You know, Mikey Felice was doing.
Started doing from the month I started, because I found out there was that back room. Pete was actually DJing when I opened the door. Pete was back there
was DJing?
on the stage. I won't say how old he was, but I kicked him out pretty quick when I found out, especially when he started harassing some lady friends. But right when I found out there's a back room, we started doing nights. And Dusty, when you were DJing on Friday nights, that was it. We just did events Friday nights, just some DJ stuff. But when you were doing it, the banquet tables were all still there. There was no stage. There was we had the speakers that they used to use for bingo announcements.
Holy shit.
Girl Talk was one of our first big shows. And when Girl Talk played, we hit capacity, way understaffed. I hired like 5 people on the spot. I was like, Katie Duty, get back here, I need help. And just like, it was total madness. You know, think of Girl Talk playing a place with like barely any stage, basically a table he stood on with like 2 little speakers that you would play a basement show in. You know, it was absurd.
Yeah.
You know, there's a video of it, I think, on YouTube that's just like, I can't believe this is even, you can't even really hear the music. It's just, we're having fun.
It's things like that I think kind of gives the whole place such a weird charm, you know, because shit like that happens there.
We were doing like, I don't know, like 6 events a month, though, different shows and stuff, before like 80s Night really made it like this weekly thing, and then
Was it always weekly?
And then it was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
80s Night was always weekly, though?
Yeah,
Okay.
and every single night that we've started, like the monthlies and stuff, 80s Night, everything started off slow.
Yeah.
You know, 80s Night was like 6 months to a year, and I was like, I didn't know if it was going to work at all.
Well, it was also...
There
he
were
was
like
mad. He
4
was like,
of us that would come initially. I remember being there with Katie Duty and Ashley Morgan.
I remember
and it was
kicking
just
you guys
us
out.
3 and then we got in a fight with the only other person that was there that was not friends with us. And something happened. I don't know if they pulled out one of Katie Duty's dreadlocks or something, but it was bad.
That was one of the fights I remember very...
That was
It was
early
an intense
80s
fight.
night. That was early on.
For anybody who doesn't know, Katie Duty is our friend, and Katie Duty, that is her real name.
Yeah, and she's amazing.
She's amazing balls.
She's the
She's
best.
the best person ever.
But don't fuck with her. She'll fuck you up.
She'll fucking kill you. She'll shit on your
First
chest.
time I met Katie Duty.
Makes sense.
We need
Katie
some
Duty.
first Katie Duty moments. I met Katie Duty outside of Subhumans in front of Club Laga, RIP, in Oakland back in the day. And I was like, oh, who's that cute girl? And she came up to me and was like, fuck you, cunt. Like smashed a bottle or something and walked away. That was the first time I met Katie Duty.
Nice.
I remember her going up to a frat boy and being like, I'll shit on your chest when we crashed a party like years and years ago. Or I wasn't there, but she came and told the story. But I remember the shitting on the chest thing being predominantly accurate. For
Like she was just gonna...
She'll just fuck you up, dude. She will come and crush you. But she's also sweet and can make amazing cookies. I love you, Katie.
And very professional, and you should definitely hire
She's
her
a
for
great
whatever
bartender
she's
and
going to school
everything.
for.
Yeah, she's a genius.
She does weird fetish films at frat houses.
I feel like we should stop talking about Katie Duty and get back to Belvedere.
Let's talk about the L words.
We can
more.
keep going.
Yeah, I thought this was about HBO.
Oh, yeah.
No.
All of our friends hate us.
The Wire, man.
The Wire's a fucking badass show, dude. That's a good show, bro.
Yo, I've been watching Breaking Bad, and seriously, I got some ideas on how we can make some money if Belvedere stays
word.
closed. So
Cool.
Since Belvedere's
Legally.
closed, we have watched 53
Legal meth.
episodes of Mysteries at the Museum because we
Oh,
don't
that's
know
an
what to do with
excellent show.
ourselves. And we're so
I seen that. I
depressed.
thought it was fucking night at the museum with the fucking retarded.
this
No,
a
it's
different guy.
mysteries. It's like
Stupid guy.
cryptozoology, like fucking crazy ass shit. I think that he was dying from an asthma attack.
What happened to Sean?
So then, yes.
Did Sean diaper out?
He's not coming.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
he's out of the.
Terrible case of diaper rash.
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to say, diaper rash?
I was gonna say he diapered out, but I like that better.
He said he has diaper rash.
Oh, his
man.
nickname that we all did that vacation at the lake, or not the lake, on the beach.
The mistake on the lake?
At the Outer Banks, we all went to that thing, and somehow he came up with his nickname became Mean Sharton because his name is Sean Martin.
That actually brings something up, and I don't know if this is something that happens in other bars throughout the industry or if it's just Belvederes, but there's a family atmosphere at Belvederes that's different than any place I've ever experienced or anything else I've ever experienced. I mean, a lot of the people I'm sitting in the room with I've known for years and years and years, and have known them before Belvederes. I've been through so much before Belvederes, like this isn't actually our first fire. I started our first fire.
And it's like not the first time that we had like blood in our mouths over something stupid, you know what I mean? There's not the first time that like, I don't know, we had to like pick up a shovel and bury something and not tell anyone about it. You know what I mean? Like we've been doing this a long time. It's like nothing new to us.
Yeah.
But that's fucking an awesome thing to mention, is it like people were like, "Oh my god, everyone here, you guys are so great. How did you guys do?" It's like we did this alone. We did this a long time ago.
Yeah,
We've been at it for a minute now, and it's like this job actually is like it's nothing to us because we just come see the people we were going to go see no matter what.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is it's more than just like that's one of the things I always liked about it too. Is like it's not just a place that you work, or it's not just a place that you go and get paid to work your shift and then go home. It's like everybody knows each other. Everybody's friends with each other. Everybody's hanging out there or at each other's house. We're not coworkers so much as we're like brothers and sisters. And
I always told Lee, like, we're not going to hire bartenders. We're going to hire family and friends and people. I mean, even on a business level, even on a business level in a cash business, you want to hire friends. Mm-hmm. You want, it's a cash. There's cash everywhere. You want, people you can trust and stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing to see like just how long everybody's stuck around too. Like you don't really see. I mean, even if you're working at a bar, which bartending is probably one of the fucking nicest jobs to have. Not everybody can do it all the time for a long period of time, but people still will bartend at a place for like a year or 2 years, and like, I mean, are you the newest bartender at like 3 years, something like that? But I mean, it's like, or maybe Nico, but like
longer than 3 years for you, right?
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, that's my point is that like the rookie bartender has been bartending or working there for 4 or 5 years.
January 1st is Alexis 3 years. So you were before 5. Alexis.
Yeah, I said I would never work this job either. Is the best part about it, knowing that just Luke being on me about like you should come work at Belvederes. We all work down here.
I remember. I just knew you because like I didn't know you yet, but you would always be that. I was like, there's that punk rock dude in the back who's like. He's laughing and barfing all over himself.
Well, that's how I met Kevin at Belvederes. He had thrown up in a bag at Belvederes, a brown paper bag. Brando lit it on fire, threw it in the middle of the dance floor, and I walked up and made out with him, and now we're engaged. Yeah.
And that story was fictitious.
That's not real. Sorry. That's not how I met him. I actually don't know him at all. I don't work there.
No.
But
who the fuck is Lee?
That was Remedy. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. But it is cool. I would say I'm one of the newer employees at Belvederes. But the cool thing is like with Joy, I've known him forever. I remember babysitting his daughter when she was, only 2 or 3 years old and helping to raise her. And he introduced me into Belvederes about 2.5 years ago or something. Mm-hmm. And I've known you, Jake, for a very long time, ever since you first moved to Pittsburgh when we would busk to try and get money.
I met Jake at your house.
Huh?
I met Jake at your house.
At my house?
Yeah.
At your house.
Yeah. When you were living in Wilkinsburg.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's like right when I moved here, and I still, like, you were like one of the first people that I met. Like, I think you and Dusty and Big Mike and Joy were like pretty much the
remember Big
first
Mike.
people that
Big
I met.
Mike. Oh my
Yeah, I was
god.
gonna say.
We'll get to Big Mike.
Yeah.
Oh,
But Dusty, I met Dusty when I lived in Southside when I was like 17. We lived on Yuxer Way together, and like
I thought it was Ugser.
whatever Uxer. I can't read. I'm stupid. I'm just
Now
pretty.
I
It's 4 letters. UXER.
It's
But wait,
def-
I put a G. Ugser.
Uxer.
No-
that
none
shit's
of us-
Uggs.
Ugh.
You know, I've heard the best compliment I've heard from the employees is that it's unlike any job anyone's ever had in the past.
Yeah.
And it will be unlike any job we ever have in the future because it is a family. It's different. It's really unique, and we've all been really lucky and blessed to have this.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully that will continue.
It-
I will.
The best compliment from the customers as well is that they feel like part of that, you know? If like we invite in all walks of life, like the best compliment I ever get is like, you know, I feel comfortable here. I don't care if I'm in a suit or a mohawk or my Steelers jersey or in my or
Or
my
a
name is
juggalo.
Scuzzy and well, that's the end of that one. But you know, I mean, there's like all walks of life that can come in and be in hopefully.
Yeah, Scuzzy's a real person.
There's like there's a bullet going into a gun somewhere.
Oh, fuck.
What?
He drug all those babies around, but they're fake babies. Anyway.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna continue because I just want to throw this out there that you know, people compliment us on creating a judge-free zone. You know, it's the only bar I've ever seen that has signs up that's like, we're not going to put up with harassment if you're bugging someone out, and they tell us you're done. So like, we don't care where you come from as long as you're not a dick.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think a lot of that. I mean, not only is that that should just be policy, like social contract shit. You know,
But
what
it's
I mean?
not.
Like,
when I started there,
right? But that's what
when
I mean.
I started there,
Like-
I was getting fought with
right
as the bartender. And other employees there didn't have my back. Their friends were the ones threatening my physical well-being. And I was like, hey, you know, your boy's being weird. Can you stop that? Like, ask him to step back. And they were like, whatever. You know what I mean? It's not.
Well, I think because it
environment
because it
all the
wasn't
time.
like because it was such a I guess a breeding ground for fucking really shady shit and just the way people like women would be treated or just other people be treated because of how bad it used to be. I think that's why everybody's so adamant to get that shit the fuck away from this place and is so quick to spot out anything like that and deal with it immediately. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people who aren't familiar with the place might be surprised when you look at it and you look at the employees. You might not think that we're the type of people to get really on top of people about that shit, but it's quite the opposite, you know, and it's got a good reputation for that. And that's huge, you know what I mean? Because people need to feel safe. And, you know, it's one thing to be like, oh, am I going to fit in here? You know, that's one thing. But then just like, am I going to feel safe here? You know, and fuck,
Dude, I can't.
You know what
I mean,
Everybody
several
does.
times we've, you know, thought someone was sketchy, and you know, my girlfriend has offered to go up and hang out next to them and not watch their drink while I'm on the cameras to see if they do some weird roofie shit or whatever. You know, what I mean, we're watching shit. You know, and it's like it's not just me. I know the entire staff cares about the people and the well-being of everyone there and doesn't want you know violence and sexist and racist bullshit and homophobic bullshit. And
well, yeah, as soon as there's some kind of character right there, it's like it just spreads like wildfire throughout the staff. It's just like, all right, everybody get your eyes on that person right there and just wait, you know. And you know,
because it's
expect
gonna
it.
happen.
Because it's
all you
gonna
gotta
happen.
do is wait.
Yeah.
They'll give you a reason, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Shit, man. All right, so we need to get at least one good. I know everybody here's got at least one good fucking story. I mean, we all have multiple stories, so. And I got one that I think is fucking hysterical and tragic at the same time, but it didn't involve anybody here. It was with Trevor, but I'm gonna kick this one off.
Kick it.
Yeah, man.
Kick it off. This is pretty fucking good. I was just talking about it earlier. So this guy comes into the bar and immediately goes to the bathroom. which that's not that normal. But when he doesn't come out for 5 minutes, you got to kind of start paying attention. So Trevor goes into the bathroom, and he sees him smoking out of the glass pipe.
I just want to say that something about a person on the ground for 5 minutes or in the bathroom for 5 minutes. There's another story that involves you directly and Trevor.
Yeah.
That where suspicion did not arise after a long stint of time alone someplace. but go ahead.
Okay. I want to hear that though. But no. So Trevor follows him into the bathroom. He sees him he starts putting a glass pipe to his mouth. Trevor immediately is like, "Dude, you cannot fucking smoke crack in here." He's like, "It's not crack, it's meth." And then just looks at Trevor. Trevor looks back at him, says, "You can't smoke that in here." He goes, "Well, why not?" So then Trevor proceeds to grab him and escort him out, which I think is funny.
Yeah, the time I was thinking about when you were bartending, Trevor fucking stands up, loses his balance in the hallway, cracks his face on a bench after he falls down, and gets sprawled out there for a long time. Surveillance video just shoots Trevor. It's like his fucking Converses are sticking out into the hallway.
I don't remember any of this.
And the video, you come walking down, there's the Converses are sticking out into the hallway. And you look over and keep walking. And then Trevor had an aneurysm.
Yeah, I'd like to point out
down.
It had nothing to do with alcohol. He was actually in trouble.
Yeah.
He had a coffin fit.
Jake, it's really, I just why didn't you say something when you walked by? And you said, "Oh, I just thought he was lying down." Which is again, going back to that thing, the world of experiences you get exposed to there,
yeah.
A lot of that shit, you know what I mean? I just figured the guys knew what they were doing. I just figured, that this was the way life was here.
He knows what he's doing. He's just laying down.
Yeah, he's just lying down.
I'm not going to bother him. He's having a nap.
It's strange, man. One of the first, you remember Mikey Fingers?
Mikey Fingers.
He had it was similar to fucking Tommy, or what is it, Tony...
Tommy No Nose?
Not Tommy No Nose, and Tony, that was the worst cook at Belvederes ever guy.
Tony or Chick?
Chicken.
Yeah.
He lost every one of his fingers
twice,
and they had been sewn back on. Yeah, but he lost them twice.
Yeah.
In ways that I was on a truck and it was lunch break and I was hanging onto a ladder getting to the.
I think the first time his dad slammed a door.
Yeah, his brother.
Yeah.
They were playing in the bread truck. Yeah, knocked out 3 of them.
His brother was Toothless Tony.
Toothless Tony.
Yes.
Toothless Tony.
Tony No Nose.
Toothless Tony slammed Chicken Mike's fingers off the first time.
Okay.
And then they sewed him on. Then he lost him again in a work accident. Is that right?
He jumped off the truck, Kevin was saying.
Yeah.
And his wedding ring got tied up in a ladder, and he went to go point his finger at the guys who was jumping off the truck to yell at. And he was yelling about where they were going to get lunch, and they
thought
Tony.
He was saying go.
Yeah, but they were like, "Tony, where's your fingers?" He said he looks up and he saw it hanging there on the truck, stuck in between the ladders with the wedding ring still on.
The same doctor put him on both times.
Yeah, that's true. That's what he says. It's hard. A lot of that stuff.
I
guess.
I will point out that almost all of those guys too are missing one thing or another.
And that's how we know them. That's how their names have been made for them.
Yeah.
But Mikey Fingers came in, going back to the kind of experiences you had there, and he was a junkie.
Mickey
son,
Fingers. Mickey Fingers.
Yeah,
and
he was missing 3 of them from different. Every one of them was he just got junked out and wrote them off.
He had this the heavy metal sign because he was missing his 2 middle fingers there. So the what do you call that?
On a job site.
Evil eye,
the horns.
The horns or whatever.
Maloik.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. He had that not naturally, but Lawrence Villiers through.
Oh yeah. But he, I got to know him pretty well, and I don't know why, but he basically he was a talker. Some of the guys would come in and you'd know him from what they did. Or what people said about them. You should be worried about them. You should know that you should never do this for them. But I really liked the guy, and he'd come in, he'd just tell me his whole life story, and told me about the first girlfriend that died, and the second one that died, and and his whole family was there. It was Gretchen and fucking that other dude that she was with, and
Jeff Mikowski.
Jeff. But he came into the bar one night. It was winter, and back in the day, it was so dead in there on those night shifts. Like there was a time I fell asleep at the bar with another customer at the bar and slept for an hour. And then woke up when people came into the place. It was just like
the customer also asleep.
Yeah, I woke up and then woke him up,
just taking a nap.
Just like, oh shit, because no one was there. And it was kind of creepy being there all alone. And you kind of have to buddy up with somebody in case something bad went down. They'd have your back, whether or not it was like he could legitimately do something or not. But a lot of those guys have known each other for so long. Somebody that says like this guy's cool, that can save your life.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mickey comes on in. It's cold. It snows on the ground, and he sits at the bar, pulls up his chair, says, "I've had a bad day, man. Let me get a Budweiser. Get the Budweiser." Comes out and he's counting his pennies, and he's got $2 or whatever. And I'm just like, "It's cool, man. That's enough. What happened today?" He says, "Well, my girlfriend died." It's like, "Oh, fuck." Like another one. Because I've known at this point that he's had 2 other girlfriends that have OD'd. Yeah. Maybe one of them was a wife. He's like, "Yeah, I don't know what to do." She's, and I'm like, "Man, it's going to get better, And he's like, "Yeah, I just don't know what I'm going to do with the body." I'm like, where is it? He said, "Well, she's in bed." And I said, "Man, that is fucked up." And he's like, and first thought, you know what I mean? Like, again, I'm like probably 20, 21. What would I do if I came home and the person that I loved was dead in my bed? And maybe I've seen
Light
this
some
before.
candles, put on some seal.
Yeah,
Oh.
But he, like, the story when you lose everyone in your life. Everyone that you've ever known fucking goes that way, that junky road, and he comes down to the bar because that's the best thing for him to do. Mm-hmm. Gets a beer, and then he says, I'm going to go home and I'm going to spend the night with her, and I'll figure this whole thing out in the morning,
Luke's fucking morbid, man.
Dude, shit's crazy, just like, this is how it goes down here. Everybody dies. And then one by one, Mickey died, Gretchen died, fucking, you just said his name, Jakowski or whatever, he died.
Mikowski.
And it was like, in one season, everyone of that family was just
in one
gone.
season of the Belvederes TV show.
I mean,
it was like fucking Sons of Anarchy, man.
I watched Lawrenceville change. I owned a house in Lawrenceville before Belvederes came up, and Belvederes was one of the first bars that like really catered to younger crowd. Thunderbird was around, and they were doing cool stuff, but every other place down there on Butler Street, from I think Eclipse is like the farthest one down. I mean, now it's Pints on Penn, sort of. But from Pints on Penn, basically all the way, what's Remedy's the last one, I guess? I mean, I've watched all of them open. Even Tony Remedy, he used to work at Belvederes, before me and ended up leaving. And like, watch the change. Lawrenceville wasn't really gentrified because it's something like, I think about, and like watch happen. Lawrenceville died off. It was like a different scenario. A lot of places in Pittsburgh, you're watching change in these, very contrived capitalistic ways and are forcing people out. Lawrenceville died off, though. It was like, I mean, we literally watched it, one world die and another one
enter.
Sure. It's really weird. I got to get going. But I just wanted to say that the outpour from the community of Pittsburgh has been tremendous. And we, as the Belvy team, want to thank everyone. And bars have been having benefits. Shows have been passing hats. There was a GoFundMe started by a friend of ours that has raised a bunch of money to help employees through the not having work phase. And it's just, I mean, I've seen most of the employees actually cry in front of me because it's just so nice. And Pittsburgh's being awesome. And like,
I just want to say I didn't cry. I wasn't one of the people that cried.
Dusty don't cry. But
it was everybody else.
But yeah, I don't know. From us to you, thank everyone so much. It's really, heartwarming and
sentimental words from the mouth of Bruce Wayne. Joy is now wearing man-sized Batman
I got
jammas.
a Batman PJ onesie. I got Sperry's on with no socks.
Dude, he's
and I'm
a
wearing
fucking wingnut.
a toddler T-shirt on my head because I ain't going to work tonight. Mic drop. I'm out.
Oh, man. Thanks for that, buddy.
Thanks, Jake.
I'll see you soon. I'll see you probably tomorrow. Yeah. Anyway, so, Dust, I know you got some fucked up stories. I know you got many. You want to share any of those?
Well, I don't know if I can top Luke in the morbidity.
You don't have to go that route.
There.
You don't have to go that route. There's another route you can take other than, dead bodies and romance.
Aside from dead bodies and romance, well, Jake, that cuts about half my stories about Belvederes right in half.
I know.
Let's see what we got left. After that, Boxcar.
Oh man,
is somebody that
we should just talk. We could just go on about Boxcar.
That we
Boxcar was also the I named my mandolin Boxcar after him.
Oh what?
I named shit like my last van was called Cupcake and my last mandolin was Bernie and so yeah I named this one Boxcar. Boxcar was fucking. How do you describe Boxcar?
Boxcar was a carnival guy and like a train hopper guy. He's probably in his
millionth year of age.
Yeah, I think he was 1 million. 1 million. Probably in his 60s, right?
I think he was. I think he was like 59 or 60.
Yeah, when he passed away a couple years ago. But who had got off just as a short stop in Pittsburgh, liked it so much that he stayed there. And his first place was under the 40th Street Bridge that he stayed. And he had a pet duck that lived with him, just him and a duck that lived under there, And eventually he moved into above what is now fucking, what is that place? Cantina. It
was the hotel forever.
It was a hotel.
A one-room hotel.
Yeah,
that
and
you
not
shared
like
a bathroom.
Yeah,
with all
literally
of the
one
other
room, no
Yinzers
kitchen,
with.
just one.
Nothing,
It was like a
one
closet.
room.
Yeah,
that's how I first met Boxcar. It was in the Circle K parking lot.
Strange things were afoot at the Circle K that day. I just want to say that.
But he somehow coerced me and another very attractive lady back to his lair above the cantina and was like, yeah, I got the best fucking herb. All right, we're going to... It was the shittiest... I swear to God, it was oregano. Yeah. He puts on...
It smelled like dog shit. He used to give it to me as a tip all the time.
It's Labrador, man.
So I'm just walking in, but this is Boxcar then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, Boxcar.
He
of course.
Cheers to Boxcar.
Yeah,
cheers to Boxcar.
There's the Boxcar. Born on Christmas Day.
Oh, yeah, born on Christmas Day. Cheers.
Also died on... No, he didn't die on Christmas Day.
Oh,
No.
well, way to go. But anyway,
Died on
he was
Easter.
wearing a fucking... He took
Came back to life on Easter. He died on Good Friday, yo.
But he took a sheet when I first met him after he coerced me and another beautiful young lady up to his one-room lair.
You took a what?
He took a sheet and cut holes out in it and proceeded to be a ghost for the next hour and a half after what I think...
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, very morbid. But after we smoked what I think was his dead duck and...
Duck?
Yeah, well, he had the
a pet
pet
duck.
duck when he lived under 40th Street.
Oh, right on.
But that's how I met him. And then after that, he just always was very protective and kind. And, like, as much as he was, like, a wingnut and fucking insane, he was also really amazing.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like, you got this guy who's just a gnarly-looking hobo dude who, when you the first words out of his mouth usually were, but he had this charm about him that he charmed two really dumb girls into coming back to his hole and smoking weed until he puts on a ghost costume.
To put it in
Come back to my hole. I'm going to be a ghost.
But it makes... Here's the thing.
Got some weed that smells like dog shit.
I like that's the thing though. It's like I'm not trying to make fun of you. It's too easy.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh shit!
No, I'm fucking with you. But no, that just like goes to say just like the kind of character the Boxcar was. He was the kind of guy that you would see people like he'd be at the bar, some girl would come in and he'd start talking to him, and immediately you can tell the girl is going, oh no. Yeah. Within 30 fucking seconds, she's fucking buying him drinks and hanging out with him all night. You know.
But to explain to everybody how important Boxcar is, we still, was it his mom? Who did everybody call on Christmas? It was his mom, right?
I thought it was.
I never actually talked to his family.
A bunch of people for Christmas, multiple different years, would call his family and just talk about Boxcar.
You know, the funny thing is, like, he knew, a lot of those guys don't, you know, they don't know how old they are. You know, that's kind of a thing where, like, they got blacked out one time when they were 25 years old, and they still think that, even though the whole world's changed around him. Boxcar was fiercely self-aware of who he was. You know, he brought that picture in of him and his dad. You know, Boxcar was he was going to quit drinking when he was 60. He was going to quit drinking and smoking because that's when his brother did, and his brother's now doing just fine. He died 58, 59 years old, has a picture of his grandpa or his dad in Mississippi, and the man looks younger than him at 75 years old.
His dad was like 70, like mid to late 70s, and there's a picture of Boxcar next to him, and you couldn't tell who was if you didn't know Boxcar.
18 when he had him, so it had to have been older than that. But yeah, and Boxcar would hold that picture up and say, "Who's dad?" You know, because like there's a grizzled,
who's your
old,
daddy?
Fucked
Who's
up
my
looking
daddy?
Man. Who's my daddy? The guy knew who he was, and the guy knew what he could do, and he was a character. You know, he was a carny for half his life.
Absolutely.
There was
rode
footage
trains for the rest of it.
There was footage of him when he was in the carnival, and it's him when he first comes to Pittsburgh in like the late '90s, and it's him, and he has a carny shirt, and he's holding it, and he's on. I think Smithfield downtown, where it looks like he is.
PPG's in the background, I think.
Yeah, so he's holding this carny shirt, and he says, all the kids out there watching this, you think the carnival life is cool? Forget about it. And he throws the carnival shirt into the street. And then he sees a hot lady walk by, and he just chases off after her, and the cameraman's left there. It was a documentary about homelessness in Pittsburgh that was on like a PBS documentary or some shit like that. But he's in it until he runs off to look at this attractive lady, you know.
Yeah, is this? I was just gonna. Was he homeless at the time, or is this above the round corner?
Yeah, he lived in the welfare hotel.
Because that's something. If it hasn't been talked about while I was gone,
we touched on it a bit while you were gone.
Where like their friends would die, and then they just kind of stepped over them for
they all
a couple
lived
of
above
days.
a bar, and none of them were allowed to drink at that bar, so they all came to Belvederes.
Yeah,
which is also something to mention that we like. Belvederes was the last bar you could drink at.
Yeah, it really was.
Like if we kicked you out, no one else.
If you break in if you break in the hole of the burnt roof,
don't tell anyone that.
Shit,
Steve,
can you take that out?
That's
I'll take care of that in post.
Okay. Here's the ways you can break into our bar.
Dun, dun,
yeah, that place was fucked.
Yeah, they took the liquor and everything already.
Talking about like we mentioned Dirty Dick or whatever, but he died in the hallway of that building.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Same type of thing, you know.
I didn't know that.
A guy.
Wait, are you talking about the hotel?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So same type of thing where you see your buddy lying down there and you just think he's just had to take a nap or something.
Yeah.
He's
For a couple
at
days.
the door of his apartment. And all of those fucking drunk bastards were stepping. Also, the guy's name's Dirty Dick. No one really gave a shit about him, and he wasn't anyone's
I didn't
favorite
give a shit
guy.
about him.
Yeah,
but he.
This is the guy that got beat up by a prostitute in the bar that he was working at when he was 71 years old.
Dirty Dick.
I'm pretty sure it was Dirty Dick.
It was the Alphabet Genius.
Oh my God, Alphabet Genius.
I'm sorry.
Oh, God, I forgot about that shit.
Yeah, dude, we should have him
I
on.
seen Alphabet Genius downtown the other day.
He used to start. He was dancing with ladies for a while. Like he'd come to
He's
the bar.
not worse
He
than
is the most
Belvederes.
handsome man in the world.
He is.
No,
next
he's
to Big
not.
Steve,
He's
maybe.
Yeah, have you talked about Big Dead Steve yet?
Big
No,
Steve.
we haven't talked about Big Dead Steve
He's a
yet.
goal. He lives in the cemetery.
All right, let me talk about Big Dead
Yeah.
Steve here. Okay,
All right.
Yeah.
this was one of our more interesting customers was this guy named Big Dead Steve. All right, and he was a real life ghoul. He was a homeless guy who slept in the cemetery and claimed that he dug graves, and he always had graveyard dirt underneath his fingernails or on his clothes or whatever. And he talked like this. You'd be
Dusty, you're the most handsome.
You're the best bartender.
He always used to tell me I was the best.
Jake, you're the
You're
best.
so handsome.
You look good. Oh, I'm not gay or nothing, but
You're a very handsome
you're
man.
a good-looking guy.
But then he would go into how he had died back in the 80s on 28. He had died. And, well, Luke, you know the story.
You know the actual story behind it.
Well, he
which
was
is
in a wreck
crazy.
out there.
Yeah.
Well, he used to be completely normal, and he was obviously had something happen to him because he was not there.
He was in a wreck on
He had
28.
some kind of mental brain damage from
Most
something.
of them do, though.
Well, this was I think it was a car accident or something. wasn't
Yeah,
it?
he was in a car wreck on 28. But he said something really fucking creepy to Luke one time.
Yeah,
man.
what was his...
When he told his
been
origin.
Coming in, we all liked the guy enough. He was plenty nice to everybody there, but he was always a little fucked up, and he was always had schizophrenia. Was
He
really
was
what we all
always
thought.
off, but he was manageable. He didn't do anything bad.
Yeah, he was fine.
And then he, which is another one of those things, like looking at a guy and being like, oh yeah, he's crazy, but he's harmless. He means well. And
Yeah.
that was like those are the guys that we talk about and we loved and we fucking miss. And he, I was like, he was like, Luke, your beard, it's magnificent. You're very handsome. You're the best bartender here, Luke. I just
He
wanna tell
told me
you.
I was the best.
He told me I was the
That-
best.
yeah,
I'm leaving. Fuck this.
He told me I had a great beard. Just saying.
And I
He
was
told
like,
Leah she had a great beard.
Well, I do.
Steve, you want anything? He's like, yeah, I would love to have a shot of Jack Daniels if you don't mind. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll get you one. And then he starts saying, you're the best. Thank you so much for the shot of Jack Daniels. It really means a whole lot to me that you would get this for me. And that's when I realized that he wasn't going to pay for it. And it's like, well, if you're doing one, I'm doing one. So I poured myself one, and we cheersed and shot it. And then I was like, asked him about the cemetery and how it was living up there. And he told me that the reason why he was up there is the graves, the freshly dug graves, are warmer than the other ones during the winter. You can sleep on a freshly dug grave, and it's like 10 degrees warmer because the body is radiating heat. So it was nice to sleep there during the winter. And then he says some other stuff, and I'm like, Steve, where are you from? Tell me a couple things. And he says, well, I've only been Steve for a little while. I had a good friend. He was up in the cemetery with me. I loved him, and he suffered. He was a suffering man. He had a lot of pain, and I told him that I would take over for him, and that I would be Steve. He was a really good guy. He was better than me, and it would be better for me to take his life than for me to give the world mine, or better for me to give the world my life than to and not lose him or whatever. Just like, what the fuck are you saying right now? Are you like? But however it works, if he robbed a grave or he just took another man's name, he believed that he was better off being his friend than being who he used to be.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, dude, the fucking guy meant well.
Creepy. As all hell.
Well, I mean, there was some definite periods of time though where I don't know if it was a medication thing, but you could see him unraveling, and he started posing like, I don't want to say a threat. I mean, he was a big dude. Like, he was a strong, able-bodied guy. And there was a couple periods of time where, you could see him unraveling, and you could see him just like talking to himself more and more, but like it was a different tone to everything that he was saying.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a lot more apparent that there's something like he's unraveling, and then he'd disappear for a couple months, and then he'd come back and he'd be Big Dead Steve again.
I feel like all the guys
I'm
down...
Well, that was the thing. That's how he got his name, because like he was just Big Steve forever.
Yeah.
He was just Big Steve, and he would call himself Big Steve. Hey, I'm Big Steve. Literally.
He wasn't that big though.
No, he had big arms. Like his arms were fucking like he had some pretty fucking good size, luscious, beautiful arms.
Digging graves.
No, but
Dip them in some
but,
garlic
like,
butter and suck them down.
he was sitting at the bar. Having his Budweiser, and I was bartending, and this young girl comes in and just happens to sit right next to Steve, and immediately I'm like, "Oh, honey, you made an interesting choice." So There's a whole fucking bar. All right. Well, this should be entertaining. So I go over there because I know, like, he starts talking to her, and I can just tell, like, all right, I'm gonna go over there. I'll start talking to Steve. You know, so he just starts talking to me instead of her. I mean, he's harmless, but like I could tell she was getting a little weirded out because this guy's fucking weird. But he's like, he's doing his usual thing. Oh, Jake, you're the best. You're a good-looking guy. Oh, Jake, I'll take a Budweiser. You know, I died. What?
Yeah, I'm fucking dead.
I'm died. You know, I died. I'm buried in the cemetery. I had 25 mixed drinks, and I died. And I was like, wait, Steve, hold on. What do you mean you died? No, I died. Just died. That was all I had to really say about it. He died, and he had 25 mixed drinks. That's how he said it. So it's kind of cryptic and whatnot. And I kind of started laughing a little bit, not just to myself, just because I'm like, And I said, Steve, you know I like you, and I've never had a problem with you. You're always welcome here. But you got to understand, you're telling me that you are a dead person walking, and I'm selling you alcohol?
You have money?
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, and I could see the look on his face like, oh no, I said too much.
Yeah.
You know, like he, and that's when I knew it, like, no, he really believes this.
No, man,
like this isn't just like some like manic rampage that his brain is sending him on. Like he really believes this, because I could see the look in his eyes like, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. And he was just like, he went from saying like, Jake, I'm very sorry that I said that to you. I should not have said that. I apologize, and I will no longer say something like that for the remainder of the next hour.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Well, everyone at Belvederes thinks that there's something, or truly believes it. Like Jude really thinks that he can charm women, and Alphabet.
He's one of those ones that doesn't know how old he is.
Yeah, he's actually too he's very self-aware. Think of
Bullshit.
To describe Jude. Think of like
the Swedish chef.
Think of like the Swedish chef meets Eeyore.
Yeah.
It's like a very...
Except his eyes are crossed, and he looks like he has a roadmap on his face that leads to hell. And then on 80s night, these beautiful 21-year-old girls come in, and you have this million-year-old man who's probably actually 34.
He's nearsighted like a mole. Like his eyes don't work. He's like holds dollar bills up to his eyelids to see what it is.
So he'll go on the dance floor and dance with these women, because after 9 you can't smoke in the front bar, so you have to go in the back. All the inserts are like, fuck, son of a bitch. So,
I gotta go over here. I'm gonna talk to this.
I'm gonna fucking talk to... I know Alfonso. So
he's got some sick dance moves too, man. I have many clips on my phone of Jude just dancing to himself.
So this one chick comes up to me and she's like, "Listen, I think this guy's having a seizure." And I was like, "What do you mean he's having
piano,
a seizure?"
Man.
And she's like, "No, he's having a seizure." And I go over and it's Jude, and he's dancing, and he's just like flailing around. And he sees me and he's like, "You know, Leah, will you dance with me?" And I'm like, and I was like, "No, I think you're scaring the women, but I know you're sweet, so why don't we just go sit down and talk, and I'll buy you a beer, you know?" And he's like, "Thank you." And so we go and we sit, and I save all the young women from the flailing of Jude. But he really believes he can charm.
Yeah,
you know what?
He does think he has game.
He also is like, he doesn't want anything other than to just be around someone
He's
that's
a
like young
sweetheart.
and pretty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just wants to like spend some time with somebody.
They're all
anybody,
lonely.
just to pay attention
the bar
to him.
in general, you know, like
They're all
there's
lonely.
a certain loneliness that comes about going to bars, and
But this is abnormal.
Maybe not for us, but like you see that at the end of every night. You know, there's always these characters just wandering around trying to find the person that they can, you know, pair up with for the evening. You know. And that type of stuff was like, you know, wears you out.
Well, a lot of these guys that you see, and it's not just, I mean, this is every bar all over.
Yeah.
All over the world. A lot of these guys, especially the older crowd, like, this is it. this is their social life. These are their friends, and that's pretty much all I got.
Well, like when we had the funeral for Mike at the bar a couple years ago, like they literally had the funeral for him there, and it was maybe like 11 people plus employees.
Yeah, 15. I'd say 15 to 20, but
plus
still
employees.
But that including a lot of us.
Yeah, but I mean that is their life. That is their beginning, middle, and end for a lot of them, which is why they never leave Lawrenceville.
Mike and Kate was a great example of that.
Mike
I mean,
and
you
Kate,
had a couple that they both worked in they were both cooks.
Yeah, they were chefs.
And
both
they
sweethearts.
Total sweethearts, and they would both get off work at their respective jobs, and they just meet up at Belvederes every single day. Yeah. And
get plowed.
They get plowed for a few hours, but I mean,
by themselves and get plowed by other customers in the bar.
Oh, jeez.
Tim and Karen.
Damn.
Sorry. Wow. Well, we had Bruce Wayne here, and now we have the lead singer of Disturbed.
Wow.
Sounded like a jungle soundtrack.
This is an all-star fucking lineup tonight.
But
anyway, sorry.
But yeah, no. I mean, that was pretty much it. Like, they just, their best friends were all of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'd honestly say, especially I had taken a month off of day shifts. While one of the other bartenders was gone, just to keep my sanity, so I'm not working like 7 days a week or something.
Yeah. But
I didn't realize how much of those people they are not only my friends, but like kind of the biggest input on my life as well. You know what I mean? Like anything you would ever want to ask. You know what I mean? Any kind of like input you want, you could. They know they've been there.
You're gonna get a fucking twisted sense
maybe
reality.
maybe not to do it. Do the opposite of their advice for sure. But it gives you some input into anything you might ever want to know, because all of them have done the fucking stupidest shit.
As long as you're not shitting in the fucking bathroom and wiping it on walls.
Oh, I will say, the pickleback episode. They all realized that pickle juice tasted good. And they went on, like, it was probably a month of just, like, whatever their respective drinks were. They didn't drink them anymore. They just drank,
Pickleback.
Black Velvet with a pickleback. And every single one of them just fell to pieces over the whole thing.
There was no hangovers.
There was a night where they there was one of the guys, I'm not going to mention his name, uses the restroom and doesn't fix himself back up, pants down around his ankles, just a total stumbly mess. And this is like middle of 90s night or something.
It was Jake.
Oh, yeah.
It was our host.
Dude, okay.
Jake was covering for Joe.
Okay, so I'm at the front bar, or at the front door. I'm at the front door with our security guy, Tom, and it's fucking at capacity. There's a line out the door. And so I'm just kind of making sure that everything's going smooth up there, and right over there is the men's room. This guy comes walking out of the men's room, comes up to me and Tom, and says, "Hey man, I don't want to freak you guys out or anything, but there's something weird going on in the men's room." Now immediately, me and Tom look at each other, and our shoulders sink. Yeah, and we just like,
and you see shoe steps of shit just from fucking.
Yeah, well, as soon as I walked into the bathroom, the smell of fucking poop.
But not normal poop. It was like fresh baby poop. Ate something it was allergic to, and then possibly
the stall is low enough where you can you can peer over it and see what's going on, and there's homeboy fucking shit all over the floor, and he's taking his hand and he's scooting it behind the toilet like to hide it. You know what I mean? Like he was like trying to like hide it behind the toilet.
I gotta ask, are we talking about the same person?
Are we talking about Twitchy?
Mike.
Well, I thought we weren't using names.
Oh, no, wait. Well, I was talking about Tommy.
That
was St. Patrick's Day.
Tommy was a different night, but this night was fucking Twitchy Hambo Mike.
Yeah.
I know.
he's
Tommy
another
did
one,
shit
you know?
shit though on
This is
St.
a-
Patrick's Day. He shit
okay.
his pants and then he shit on his.
and I was the only one there.
he
with
shit
you.
everywhere, man.
Wait, Tommy fucking.
Not Tommy No Nose, fat
Mario.
Mario.
fat Tommy.
Electrician.
Yeah.
Fat Tommy electrician.
He had white fucking pants on, and he goes to
Wario.
and white shoes,
It looks like Wario.
and he goes to the bathroom, and I'm standing at the
If any of you guys are listening to this, Tommy,
That's
love
Tommy.
you and Mike and
we all
all
love
of you guys.
You guys all are our family to us. But one of them, they've all done something. But he came out covered in his own shit. His pants were around his ankle. I could clearly see his dinger, and it was just really utter chaos. And then I think, well, Dusty, were you at the front bar?
Yeah.
Because I was at the door, and I came up to Dusty, and I was like, I don't know who shit their pants. And I look over, and Tommy's sitting there with shit all over his white pants and shoes. His pants are like around his knees, and he's sitting at the bar with his boxers. And I was just like, fuck, Tommy, you gotta go. Like, you have to go.
Yeah, at this point, you
this-
have to leave.
Yeah, this is also a good time to mention that these guys, by the way, are not being overserved. They drink 2 drinks an hour tops.
Oh yeah.
Or they drink 1 Iron City for 3 hours.
Or they think it's
usually the
okay
case.
to
Just-
smoke meth, you know, one or the other. They're fucked, but they are like family. They're the day shift, and then you have the
characters.
nightlife of like crazy awesome party dance nights and different theme nights. And
that's a really funny thing to mention about the place too is how we like. There's like a fucking barrier, and then the day is gone, and the night begins, and all these kids who are trying to look as sexy as they can and act as cool as
Are
they
walking
can.
around in Tommy's shit.
but really, you guys should still come back when we reopen, because it's not like this. These are all fictitious stories. Please, no.
Yeah.
And we haven't even fucking touched the tip of the iceberg on this shit. You
aside
know?
from
like,
gross stuff.
Other things have happened that weren't
Well, okay.
didn't involve death or shit, but
Well, like the love stories, like Larry. No, seriously, Larry, his wife died of cancer, and it was like
Oh,
a
yeah.
year,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he was my favorite. He's my favorite
Which Larry?
daytime white Larry, and he's my favorite daytime Yinzer. And his wife died, and I got really close to him when right after she died, and we would like play darts and hang out. And he's like, you know, I'm really sad, and I can't stop thinking about my wife. And he looks at me, and he's like, you know, if Kevin dies, at least you know that you spent, or that she, not Kevin, but his wife, spent the rest of her life with him. And it was like the saddest thing that I had ever heard, and so sweet and like heartwarming. And then whatever, I mean, like everything isn't fucked up. There are like beautiful things that come out of Belvederes. It's just the funny shit is literally Tommy and Mike's shit.
Literally.
You know, literally.
Or when Kevin finds out that maybe kangaroos don't live in Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Or when fucking Kevin fell out of the pigeon coop, or who fell out of the pigeon coop in Lawrenceville and like almost died. You know, Nat always tells the story. The one guy, he fell asleep and then just fucking rolled off to the thing that wasn't a
wait, he was
horse.
sleeping in a chicken coop in the air
Well, no.
in Lawrenceville.
Kind of, yes. I don't know the story, so I can't tell it.
Wait, it wasn't Chicken Mike
it
sleeping in the
wasn't-
chicken
it wasn't
coop,
Chicken
was it?
Mike. I think it was Kevin, and like they had ripped or gutted
Yeah.
out a building. Do you know what I'm talking
yes,
about?
there was I don't know who it was. There's a building that was under construction. The third floor porch had been taken off.
That's it, not
So-
chicken coop, whatever.
Right. So there's just an open hole to a fall of 3 stories into, you know, the dumpster where they're throwing everything.
Into the
someone
dumpster where
gets-
Kevin lived.
they get drunk.
For some reason, Debbie just came into my mind when he was describing that.
Was it the dumpster?
I think it was I think it was the hole that led to a 3-floor drop into a dumpster.
Shit. But this guy, yeah, he fell and just had some like Mr. Magoo dumb luck,
Yeah.
where he landed in the dumpster. Just
and fell asleep.
Yeah, but only on the insulation, and had missed all the sharp
Fucking-
pieces of fucking everything else that they had thrown
And
into the
everyone-
dumpster.
yeah.
Lucky as fuck.
That was Kevin, by the way. Now that I think about
I
it,
fucking told you.
Yeah, that
who
was
also
Kevin.
will play 3 doors down repetitively for 17 hours straight, and wants to DJ me and Kevin's wedding.
He
with
is
just
gonna
3
DJ
doors
our
down.
wedding.
Kevin nonsense, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, little old
mumbles.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to mumble.
I can understand him.
Yeah, well, that's because your name's Kevin and you mumble, and you also have a reputation of pissing the bed.
I will say that he and I had met each other. He was a friend of mine before Belvederes. He and I had met at another bar where we had a drink off that he's super proud of.
Was that the night I met you and you got the shirt?
No, no. There was a night where he was wearing the most ridiculous shirt, so I switched him shirts, and I got a rash. And I got a call the next morning that, hey, Kevin, I think there's an old guy that's thrown up in his own puke laying in a trench on the side of the road with your shirt on. I was like, there is a guy.
So all these guys are mainly, like, we do take care of them. They're not just funny stories. Like, we do take them home. We feed them if they're hungry and don't have money.
We
make
fucking
sure-
read them their fucking the changes that happen with their vet checks, like, and make sure that because they like, and the ones the worst ones are the ones that, like, oh, I could read, but I haven't had glasses in a long time. It's like. It's cool, man.
You liar.
Well, before we wrap this whole thing up, is there anything else in particular that you want to like point out or bring up before we,
Well, what was this supposed to be about?
Do we need to
Yeah,
talk about
what are we doing here?
We were supposed to have a specific topic about. I think it was going to be something about Air Asia. And we just started talking about this shit.
Yeah. Well, the Air in Asia
spontaneously combusted, just like Jake.
Well, can we talk about?
By the way, Jake started this fire.
Jake is God. Spontaneous combustion.
Can we talk
therefore
about-
is God, and so he started it.
We talk about spontaneous combustion.
We can.
We got about 2 minutes.
Oh, okay, shit. Let's just say some cool shit real quick.
Should we sing a song?
I got something I want to say. This is a quote that I overheard in Belvederes, and I was just like walking past, and as soon as I heard this come out of these mouths, I immediately had to run out of the room so I could laugh and then write it down. I forget who it was. I think it was Al Lipinski and some other dude. It was just the two of them there. It might have even been Jude. I'm not really sure. I know Lipinski was there.
Anything from Al is gold.
Well, he was. Okay,
he's an astronaut.
I think I'm pretty sure it was Jude and Lipinski. They were watching Cops, and it was like Cops, and like they were working up a sweat watching Cops, and it was like Cops in Fort Worth, Texas, or something like that.
Right.
And so like these people are saying y'all, and I think it was Jude because it just makes sense from him. What the fuck is y'all? What the hell does y'all mean? And Lipinski's like. That's like, that's Southern. It's like yins, but Southern for yins. And Jude's like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Oh, man.
It's like a 5-block radius, man. A lot of
And
those
that's
folks
the
never
quote
made
you
it.
wanted to wrap everything up with, y'all. And I thought it was going to be like this heartwarming thing, like, we're family, we'll get through this, thank you, everything. But y'all and fucking yins from Jude and Lipinski.
There was this time.
Yeah, I just don't care about you guys. I wish I did.
You are such an asshole.
I'm sorry.
It was at the back bar, and
I
these
like
couple
Luke.
of kids came through, and we know these kids, and we've probably seen them in better days. Something we should have if we had another hour to talk about it. The number of people that Belvederes ruined, like people that were doing great, had their futures in line. They came into the bar, and they're fucked up forever from it.
Yeah.
But this kid comes in
like us.
Yeah, it's like
basically.
we had everything going for us. And
Minus
then
the
we
future part. None of us had that. But.
Yeah. The kid comes in and he's talking to me, and he says something along the lines of like, basically, how did this whole thing happen? I tell him the whole story, and we just Joy kind of found this little shit spot, and we put on all of our shows here, and we had a really good time here, and we hired all of our friends, and then the neighborhood changed right in front of us, and as we were here, we became an entirely separate thing that we weren't supposed to be, and then all you guys thought we were cool, coming from a place where we were completely lame. And then we all had a future, and we had a great time, and we've all built our lives from this thing. And we've never been without our friends. We've never been without a place to go. And we fucking look at you people all the time, and that's how we get outside. And and now we're sitting here. And the kid looked at me, and he was like, man, I wish I had a story to tell that was like that. And I was like, it's not really a story, It's just like the way that I lived for the last few years, and then and since that interaction with the kid, him being like, I wish I could tell a story like that, I've been really gracious for the whole thing, like it's turned its way from like the thing that I did for money to the thing that I did with my life, and I did it with all of you guys, and it's been the shit. And the bar's gone. Maybe it's gone forever. Hopefully, it supposedly is.
Shut up. It's not.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we got 1 month.
We're very lucky.
But it's really good to take that step back and look at it with y'all and realize that this is the thing that we did for a lot of us for the last decade.
And we will continue to do it. I don't think it should be like that. And the people that own Belvederes gave us a place to continuously continue, if that's a thing.
You got to take out that maybe
together.
Forever.
Yeah. But we've all been able to stay together, work together, get up, have coffee at the deli together, do whatever, but we're always together, and we will always take care of each other, whether it takes a month or forever. So everybody, thank you so much for the support and listening to our garbage.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, I love you all dearly, and I'm happy that you guys are in my life, and I'm apologizing right now for being in yours at times. But I love Yins very much. So thanks a lot, guys, for being part of this.
For sure.
Thank you.
Cheers.
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 All right, guys, that's it. That's everybody at Belvederes that I've known for years. It's really cool to introduce to you these people. I've known them for a long time. As you can see, we've become a pretty tightly knit group of people. I also want to give a big shout out to the people that own the place. We're talking about Anna, Alfred, their daughter Natalie, and their son Adam. They really are, I guess, what I would consider to be the glue that keeps everybody together. They're wonderful people. They've stood by us. We will always stand by them, and really want to thank them a lot. All right, so in 2 weeks, we got Submachine coming up. They would have been this week. However, this is a family emergency, as you can see, so I pushed it back. But that's an awesome time. You get to hear a lot of funny stories from the road and just what it's, insider's look at what it is to be playing hardcore punk for the last 20 years, 25 years. So stick around for that. We'll be back soon. We got a lot of cool guests coming up. Please, please, please share this shit. If you like it, do us a favor. Share it. Comment on it. Spread the love. Rate it. All that crap. You know what I mean? Follow us on Twitter. I'm easy at Jayke Orvis. If you've been listening to the show, you know that I spell my name with a Y. So don't be an idiot and don't ask, because I'm sick of fucking answering emails. Other than that, I will see you guys soon. Carlito, take us on out.
Last call for drinks. Bars closing down.